Hey everyone, I'm Donna and today we're going to talk about tool marks. Tool marks are those kind of ugly little dents that we get sometimes on the wire. I don't know if you can see that. Sometimes you just grip it a little bit too tight, or maybe there's something wrong with the pliers. So I'm going to show you how to avoid those so you don't leave those marks in your jewelry. Okay, so right now I have a pair of pliers. These are pretty much standard issue at almost every craft store. So it's one of the things, these are the ones that most beginners I see use. So what you'll notice is when you run your finger here, it's just kind of a little bit of an edge. And the first thing you want to do is get rid of that edge. So I'm using some 320 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go over that a little bit. You don't need to do a whole lot. Just kind of run your finger over there. Make sure it smooths it a little bit. Now I'm going to go over it again with 400 grit just to smooth it out a little bit more. Just get rid of any scratches that the 320 might have left. Don't forget to check up here where that is. That's a little bit sharper there still. You don't want to take off too much of the edge because you want to still be able to grip your wire. You just don't want to leave marks on it. And then go back over it again with the 400 grit. Now another way you can do this, which is actually much quicker, if you have a flex shaft, a rotary tool like a Dremel, or this is actually a nail drill. All of them will work for this. And I'm using a 3M unitized wheel, the miniature unitized wheel. And you want to be careful with this because it can take off a lot of metal really quick. So just barely touch it. Just kind of run over it very quickly. And that takes care of it. So that's the first step in avoiding tool marks. Next, you need to learn to avoid the death grip. And what I mean by that is when you grip your pliers so tight when you're trying to work that it ends just kind of squeezing everything that it touches. Because I mean, it doesn't really take much to do that. And there's already a mark on it, even after sanding it. So what you want, well, the easiest way to avoid the death grip is to take these hinges out. It's not always easy to do. I usually just take a pair of flat nose pliers, and let's see if we can pull that out. Now the reason you want to take that out is because the more you have to squeeze, the less you can tell how hard you're squeezing it. And you need to be able to feel how hard you're squeezing the pliers once it actually makes contact with the wire. Okay, this one is definitely being stubborn. Okay, there, it just broke off. Then go ahead and do the same on the other side. A lot of people think they need those springs to open the pliers for them, but if you hold your pliers properly, it's easier to open it with your hands. And if you're doing like a lot of jump rings, opening and closing jump rings all day, every day, well, maybe not every day, but for a long period of time, you'll notice it actually squeezing it over and over again because of the springs. It can actually make your hands more tired. So if you just put a finger inside there, it springs open very easily, and you don't really need to rely on the springs for that. And so now, without the spring on there, when the pliers touch the wire, you can actually feel how much pressure you're putting on there. So that makes it a whole lot easier to not squeeze too hard. Now, the next thing is technique. We keep thinking we have to grab the wire and twist with the pliers. And in a lot of cases, yes, that is the best way to work. But other times, it may be better just to gently hold the wire with the pliers and then use your hands. It just depends on the effect you're trying to get. And how thick the wire is will make a difference too. Now, round nose pliers are going to be the hardest ones to avoid tool marks with. But once you practice your grip, practice not holding it too tight, and practice that technique, it'll be a lot easier to avoid those tool marks.